Preparing for MBA interviews. So all the interview season is upon us. How does one go about preparing for this, and what are the things to keep in mind? I'm going to worry about the style part of it later. I like my brain works in terms of bullets and points. So I'm going to think about 3 specific areas in terms of content. What do you focus on? First one is personal questions. Personal questions are questions about you. And so specifically, tell me about yourself. What are your strengths and weaknesses? Why do you want to do an MBA? Why do you choose your career path? Why do you like marketing or finance? When have you shown leadership? Along those tracks, questions about you, and whether you are in a good position to explain content wise. This is going to be about structure, and this is going to set the tone about how you go forward. You have to figure out ways of answering this which is away from your CV, but also at the same time factually correct, and goes beyond presenting data about you. It has to showcase personality. It has to be the fine line between we have to walk this line where you're entertaining, you're not boring, but you're not frivolous. And you can't say, I'm really cool, man, I really have a good time, I check out memes and stuff. You can't do that. At the same time, you can't say, I'm Ramesh Chaudhary, I finished my 10th, and then after that I studied for 2 years, finished my 12th standard. In 10th I got 93.4, and 12th I did even better, 95.6 percentage. In my chosen subjects, I've been good. I did my engineering from a good college. I finished electronics engineering, CGPA of 8.4. My last semester CGPA was 8.6, which is actually very good, and got placed with Accenture. Worked for 23 months and 12 days, after which I decided to do an MBA. And nothing here is unavailable from the CV, from the resume, and showcases nothing about your personality. And so you have to figure out ways of adding something about yourself which is beyond data, but not frivolous. You have to think about, okay, somebody is giving me a chance to make a pitch for myself, and figure out ways of explaining those elements about you that make you without making it weirdly personal, without making it controversial, without making it colloquial, informal, none of that. And it is very much possible. You've lived your life for 20 to 23 years. There have got to be wonderful, interesting things about yourself that you can think about and showcase them coherently. It takes tons of practice, but that is what you need to be focusing on. Here, you can't prepare for this with tons of reading and data. That's not what this is about. You can't say, look, okay, let me think about this. Where do I find exactly what I did in 2022? You can't. You think, you process, and you figure out ways of showcasing that well. And so, for this, the very, very important part is to write and revisit. Keep that very much an active part of how you prepare for this. You have to figure out ways of showcasing things about yourself that are not directly from your CV, but are factually correct and are not boring. And you have to take this as a very serious exercise and do this. Fine. One major mistake people do in this, they say, look, it's about me, what can I not know about myself, what is there to prepare? Observe. And you do this 2 times, you'll understand that your answers are dramatically different, and one is clearly better than the other. And so figure out ways of practicing and doing well. Second thing, I have a group of people with our own beloved Raghu. I want to let him down a little bit. I've always said Raghu is fantastic. Now I'm going to tell you Raghu, the person who attends interviews. Raghu had this vague, strong background feeling that if he pitched himself very strongly, then he was betraying something. And so it was almost like, look, these are the facts. I don't want to put any masala. Dude, it's not masala. It's making a case for yourself, which is a very vital part of doing an MBA and having professional career growth and all of that. And we shouldn't be apologetic about it. Pitching yourself well is not being boastful. Being very reluctant to do that is not a great thing. And you have to find ways of making a case for yourself without being bashful about it. So that art is very learnable, very important. That's something that you need to work on. And very, very important toolkit for that is to write. And second thing, sometimes this answer needs to not get too jargonized and shouldn't rush into why you want to do an MBA. Suppose they ask me, tell me about yourself. Your answer cannot be, oh, by the time I was in third standard, I really clearly knew that I wanted to be a manager. Good. Third standard. Don't kid yourself. And so it helps to practice saying things out loud, making sure that you're not overly jargonizing your answer. Keep it personal, but not too deeply, weirdly personal. And figure out better ways of answering these questions. Work, write, practice. Definitely for this. And so this is a crucial section. It's a section that can, your personal answer section is not going to nail you in interview, very unlikely, but it can completely kill you. If you poorly answer, tell me about yourself, it shows that you're not prepared for one very crucial element of your admission cycle. And so that's absurd. If you get that question, you should nail it. To the best of your ability, you should answer clearly, articulately what you're about, showcase why you'll make a good candidate, and be somewhat fun about it. All of that should come. And don't think of practice as a crime. It's a very essential feature of preparing for interviews. Sometimes when you practice, you lose spontaneity. It seems like a motorized answer. You go through that phase. You practice and practice, you feel like you're becoming robotic, and then you practice some more, and then it comes out natural. So go till there and then get that part done. And it's very important. The second part is ACADS plus and or WorkX questions. Right? So this is the part which you need a good meat in your answers. Suppose you're a mechanical engineer, you should know laws of thermodynamics. You should know terms in heat transfer. You should know what enthalpy means. If you don't, read up the top 3-4 most important topics in your undergraduation, read up on them. If you have fewer than 3 years of experience, undergraduation kind of matters more. If you're a fresher, dive in. It's almost like a Viva. Know this, you have to go through some of your lessons, some of your topics, dust out those old books from the loft, go through them. Every chance that you'll be asked on your accounts, on your commerce, on your economics, on your engineering, on whatever you have learnt or claim to have learnt in your undergraduation, you can expect questions from that. And so prepare for that very well. Keep in mind that the kind of questions you met, you try to second guess that. Suppose you're working in say hypothetically you're working in the sustainability industry, you're working with a solar panel company. And so you will understand the terms and terminology, all of that, but the questions could very much surround around, hey, for renewables there's a big discount offered by big subsidies offered by the government. What is the subsidy? Why are they offering it? We're building a house and we're trying to install this. Those guys are running circles around me. Is this meaningful for me? So think in terms of what a lay person could ask related to your job or what you have learned. Right? Your academic background, very important, but this is rigorous stuff. Go and study, get yourself prepared. And on work experience, prepare on both fronts, your role, your definition, and what your company does. The bigger, more popular, more well established, the better known your company is, your role becomes important, not the company thing. If you work in Accenture, they're not going to ask you, okay, what do you think of the global strategy of Accenture? And you started your career, there are 170,000 people there, and you've had 3 years of experience, so you're not likely to know something fiercely insightful. Smaller the company is, the less of a brand the company is, the more they could ask you on either your role or what the company is up to. You need to understand the industry and the context also if you're working in a smaller company. Right? You need to be able to clearly articulate your role, exactly where you fit in. Have some numbers, have solid things to back what you did. Don't overstate, don't brag. Don't claim to have managerial experience. You don't need to have managerial experience. If you have managerial experience, showcase it. But if you don't try to force fit that. Don't make an answer about WorkX. Answer that question of why you want to do an MBA. Answer your WorkX question. Don't say straight away, oh, I've been working in Accenture for 2 years. It's been wonderful learning experience for me. It has also told me very clearly why I need to be a manager. I never asked you. I asked you what you're working. Explain what you are doing in your job. Clearly, succinctly. If you can put off some nice insightful thing, put that in. But don't overstate, don't overcook things. But this part is about rigor, knowing data, knowing facts, knowing clearly what you're doing and explaining that clearly. The third part is current affairs questions. This is what's happening in the world. Little bit of it is general knowledge, stuff like our constitution, how our parliament is structured, how many constituencies are there, what is our cabinet, all those things you should know. Who are the ministers of different things? Well, very often I read a lot, read tons of things about whatever is happening in the world, especially and India, of course. But these days I'm not sweating details on names and numbers as much as what is the theme. Okay. If I'm really doing research, I have to do a video or write something, then I'll go dig in the detail. If something about the data seems funny to me, then I'll dig into depth. But otherwise, I'm like, okay, some 43,000 crores, maybe it's 53,000 crores. How does it matter? Right? So that's how I'm reading these days. You guys can't afford to do that. So anything you read, amp up detail, amp up data, amp up information, and then add a layer of opinion. Don't rush to opinion. Lot of information, lot of data, some amount of analysis. Then if you have a nicely informed, non-controversial opinion, go into that territory. Right? But when you're doing current affairs, learn about whatever is happening in the world. Learn data with a certain amount of detail sitting inside it. If you have, in your personal questions, if you have said some things about, hey, this is what you like doing, then link to that current affairs should be the king of. So hypothetically, you've said, look, I am a big fan of cricket. I watch all kinds of cricket, especially international cricket. That's my thing. Then you need to know the current squad for India or for the Champions Trophy completely. You can't say, I don't know whether Sanju Samson is going. He's a good player, but I don't know whether he has been selected. You can't say that. If you're a fan of cricket, you should know who has been selected, who has not been selected, why not, what is the theory, why has this person been dropped, what's the composition of the team, who's injured, what can come in. All of that you should know. Right? So amp up the detail part in current affairs, numbers, names completely. Don't let that fall. Dial down the opinion part. Don't get your current affairs information from the damned television. Don't get it from Twitter. Get it from credible sources. On top of that, if you can find good analysis, great. On top of that, if you can arrive at a good informed opinion, then that's nice too. But don't take somebody else's considered opinion and see that it coincides with your ideological biases and say, this is my opinion. Not required. You're not required to venture an opinion unless they put you in a corner. Don't be over eager to showcase your fierce opinions about matters. Showcase facts, showcase some analysis, wait. And then if they ask you, do you think it is right that the government has done that? Then you can say, look, probably not, sir. Considering the circumstances, this probably is not the best move. And then what are the circumstances? What could be a better move? There you stand. That's fine. But don't go all guns blazing. Oh, this is a randomly bogus move by our government. I don't know why they have done this. No. State facts, sit and wait. And so don't get fiercely opinionated and argumentative and confrontational about current affairs topic, especially if they are slightly sensitive. Right? This is the 3 buckets under which you have to prepare for. Personal questions, ACADS or WorkX questions, current affairs question, big themes. Right? So, themes for preparation should write a lot. When you're writing, you keep branching higher and higher, deeper and deeper. Some of my students have finished books while writing. Suppose you say, look, I like volleyball. You like volleyball, so what is the mass of the ball? What is the height of the net? What is the size of the ground? Is there a forecourt and a backcourt? What are the rules for serving? Can different number of players play in some other format of the game? Yeah, you need to know all of that. When people ask you, what is the weight of the volleyball? And you have to be ready. What is the height of the net? You have to know that. And so you have to know facts, who is the world champions, where does India rank? All of that. Is it part of the Olympics? Everything. You need to know. You can't. So you say, I like volleyball. You need to dig deeper, get 6 questions. You say, I follow cricket. An ocean opens up. And so every statement you make, you have to dig deeper and prepare. So write and prepare. Ask for subsequent questions. Build down like a giant tree and write and prepare. Right? Second thing is practice. Stand in front of a mirror and deliver. These days, much better than that is to record. Keep a phone. Speak onto it, record, listen. Very often, we are pretty decent bullshit filters when you are listening, but our bullshit filters are off when you are speaking. I hope it's not happening now, but sometimes very often it happens that when you're listening to even your own voice, you feel like, look, simply doesn't sound like me. I don't even use those words. Those words come in, that those are not your words, because of the anxiety, because of the slightly artificial setting of interview or interview preparation, which is you'll have to dial down. It also helps if you're answering your personal questions to some non-MBA person. If you have your grandmother, ask her to sit down and say, today I'm going to answer this question. Tell me about yourself. What are your strengths and weaknesses? Why do you want to do an MBA? Abba sun lo. And then you tell me what I can do differently. Fine. Because grandmothers have a good sense of, hey, it doesn't sound like you. If it doesn't sound like you, change it. So fine. The final part, especially for personal questions, own your answers. Don't give some answer that are not yours. That is a mishmash of all these inputs you've got from experts like me, who all made your head slightly put so many ideas. We're all looking to help, fine, but when in all our bits to help, so many of us say so many slightly different versions of these things. They all sit there, and then you start losing a sense of, look, why do I want to do an MBA? Sometimes you need to find the best reframe for your answer. Reframe it nicely. A very poor substitute would be a hodgepodge of 5 different answers. And so think and get clarity for your answers, frame them well, and iterate them, rather than take 3 things and do a bhelpuri answer and say, this is my answer. I'm not doing anything more than this. So figure out ways of owning your answers. This is my answer. This is why I want to do an MBA. Right? And make your answers nice positive ones. Your answer for why MBA going to look, I did engineering. Engineering तो मेरे को आता ही नहीं है. अभी क्या करूँ? MBA तो बचा है. That's not the way to go about it. It may be frighteningly close to the truth to several engineers who are attempting to do an MBA, including me when I started on this journey several years ago. But hey, we all, maybe, but if you don't like engineering, there are a million other things to do. Why MBA? Find an answer to that. And sometimes you don't have full clarity, that's all right. Figure out a way of framing that and explaining that very well. And so do tons of preparation. Do not, I repeat, do not be the person who says, interview ke liye kya prepare kare yaar, aise to jana hai. No, aise nahi jana hai. You have to prepare really well, really well for an interview. The weightage is super high, and it can swing your chances. And so keep that in mind. Wear a big smile, have a nice optimistic attitude, own that, go into the room with belief, like you totally belong there, kind of things that I was really poor at. I was rather very poor at this. I've been poor at interviewing for a long time. Sometimes I think I became an entrepreneur very early in my life only because I didn't want to sit at the other side as a panel being interviewed by people. Anyway, that's my story. How does it matter if you make sure that you go in with a certain amount of belief. Right? Lots of times you have a mental map of what are my chances. You think that, look, I'm the borderline percentile to have gotten, so my chances are low. I need to really kill this interview. Oh, to shayad ho nahi payega. All of that. Remember, the weightage is significant. If they've called you, they think you have a chance. I've known people who have got a call for the interview after a wait list, right? And have gotten the admit and been shortlisted for the Aditya Birla scholarship, which is available for the top 20 entrants to the college. So they get in to stage 2 by the skin of their teeth and come out the top 20. So this interview has better weightage. So keep that in mind. So it has to, you have to keep that in mind and then say, look, I have a chance. I'm here. It's a great opportunity for me. Let me grab it with joy. Best wishes.